God says, "Listen closely, my beloved soul, and allow yourself to pause for just a moment, not because you are late or wrong, but because your heart deserves a gentle place to rest." The reason this message meets you now is not to accuse or pressure you. It is to remind you that connection does not disappear when life becomes busy. It simply waits, patiently, until you are ready to notice it again. You may have been moving through your days on autopilot, carrying responsibilities, decisions, and quiet worries that no one else fully sees. When life feels full, even meaningful moments can be skipped without intention. This message understands that. It is not asking you to feel guilty for surviving at your own pace. It is inviting you to slow down just enough to hear what steadies you from within. Unexpected moments do not always arrive as sudden events. Often, they arrive as inner shifts. Realizations that soften pressure, clarity that replaces confusion, or calm that returns without explanation. You may already feel a subtle easing as you stay with these words. That easing matters. It is the space where reassurance enters gently, without demand. You might have been wondering lately whether your efforts are leading somewhere meaningful, whether patience is still worth it, or whether you are missing something important. These questions appear when a person is growing, not when they are failing. Growth brings awareness. Awareness brings questions. And questions bring the opportunity for clarity. This message meets you right there, not with answers forced upon you, but with steadiness that allows answers to form naturally. Notice how this moment does not ask you to change anything immediately. It asks you to be present. Presence is powerful. When you are present, the mind stops racing and the heart becomes receptive. Receptive hearts recognize guidance without fear. They feel supported rather than pressured. That is the tone of this message. Support, not urgency. You are not being called because you skipped something before. You are being called because you are ready now. Readiness does not feel dramatic. It feels calm. It feels like being able to breathe a little deeper. It feels like knowing you do not have to carry everything alone. This is that moment. Stay with this message gently. There is nothing you need to prove and nothing you need to rush. What is meant to reach you will do so clearly, respectfully, and at the right pace. For now, simply remain open. The steadiness you feel is already guiding you toward what comes next. As this message continues, allow yourself to stay exactly where you are, without rushing your thoughts or trying to predict what comes next. What is unfolding now is not meant to interrupt your life, but to gently realign it. You may have noticed that when you finally slow down, even for a moment, your inner world feels different. Not louder, not heavier, just clearer. That clarity is important. It is the place where understanding forms without effort. You may have felt lately that you were holding too many things at once. Responsibilities, expectations, decisions, and silent emotions all competing for your attention. When that happens, the heart often becomes tired before the mind admits it. This message is not pointing out what you missed. It is acknowledging what you've been carrying. Acknowledgement brings relief. Relief allows space. And space is where calm guidance enters. Sometimes we think guidance must come as instructions or dramatic signs, but more often it comes as a feeling of steadiness returning. You may notice that as you read, your breathing becomes slower, your shoulders less tense, your thoughts less scattered. That is not accidental. It is your system responding to reassurance. Reassurance does not push. It supports. Learning refines awareness. Awareness sharpens discernment. Discernment leads to wiser choices. Everything you have experienced has been preparing you for clarity, not confusion. Stay with this sense of steadiness as the message continues. There is nothing urgent being demanded of you. There is only an invitation to remain present and grounded. What is meant to arrive will do so in a way that respects your peace and strengthens your confidence. For now, your openness is enough. As this message moves forward, notice how different this moment feels compared to the rush of your usual thoughts. There is a softness settling in, a quiet space where you are no longer trying to figure everything out at once. This is important, because clarity never arrives in chaos. It arrives when the heart feels safe enough to listen. You are entering that space now, not by force, but by willingness. You may be realizing that much of what felt overwhelming before was not because life was too heavy, but because you were carrying it alone in your mind. When support is acknowledged, even silently, the weight shifts. This message is not here to add responsibility to your life. It is here to remind you that you are not expected to handle everything with strength alone. There is wisdom in pausing. There is strength in allowing reassurance. Unexpected things often arrive when resistance fades. Not because they were delayed, but because readiness has finally formed. Readiness is not excitement or fear. It is calm acceptance. It is the feeling that whatever comes next, you will meet it with balance rather than panic. That readiness is developing inside you now, quietly, steadily, without announcement. You may notice that certain worries feel less convincing than they did before. Thoughts that once repeated themselves now feel distant, almost unnecessary. That shift matters. It means your inner perspective is changing. When perspective changes, life responds differently. You begin to notice opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You begin to feel capable where you once felt uncertain. This message is also reminding you that skipping moments of stillness is not failure, it is habit. Habits can change gently. Right now, you are forming a new habit, listening inwardly instead of reacting outwardly. That habit strengthens intuition. Intuition guides you toward decisions that feel aligned rather than forced. Stay with this calm awareness. You do not need to label what is happening or assign meaning too quickly. Let understanding unfold naturally. When something truly aligns with you, it will not create pressure. It will create peace. And peace is the clearest signal that you are moving in the right direction. As this message continues, trust the steadiness you feel. It is not temporary. It is the foundation forming beneath your next step, preparing you to move forward with confidence, clarity, and quiet strength. As this message comes to its final flow, let everything you've taken in settle gently, without trying to interpret it too quickly. What matters most right now is not anticipation, but grounding. Grounding allows understanding to land softly, without pressure. You may notice that your thoughts feel more organized, your emotions less reactive, and your inner voice kinder than before. That shift is meaningful. It shows that steadiness has replaced urgency, and clarity has begun to replace doubt. There is a simple truth being affirmed here: when you slow down enough to listen, you don't miss what matters, you recognize it. You are not being pulled towards something unfamiliar or forced into change. You are being supported toward alignment. Alignment feels calm. It doesn't rush you or make you anxious. It reassures you that you can meet what comes next with balance and discernment. Unexpected moments don't always arrive as events. Sometimes they arrive as readiness. Readiness is the quiet confidence that says, "I can handle this." It's the sense that you don't need to control outcomes to feel safe. You've been building that readiness through patience, reflection, and resilience, even when it didn't feel obvious. Now it's becoming visible to you as inner peace. Carry this awareness with you as you step forward. Notice how you respond rather than react. Notice how decisions feel lighter when you trust your inner steadiness. You don't need to chase clarity. It will meet you where you are. When the next step appears, it will feel natural, respectful, and aligned with who you're becoming. Let this message close with reassurance, not expectation. You are supported. You are capable. You are guided by calm wisdom rather than urgency. Staying present is already preparing you for what's next, and that presence is your greatest strength. If this message felt like it spoke directly to you, type "Amen" in the comments as a quiet confirmation. Please like, subscribe, and share this message with someone who may need calm and clarity today. Your support helps this message reach hearts that are ready to listen.